smoker, we're here to save the day. We got tips and tricks, reviews and more. Join us on the back porch, that's what we're here for. We're not professionals, but we're here to help. Take a step into the lounge, don't be by yourself. Light up a stick, let the stories unfold. In the back porch lounge where the vibe is bold. Shy about the shop, no need to fear. We'll teach you the ropes and make it all clear. Learn the lingo, find your cigar groove. With the Leaf Cutters crew, you got nothing to prove. We're not professionals, but we're here to help. Take a step into the lounge, don't be by yourself. Light up a stick, let the stories unfold. In the back porch lounge where the vibe is bold. So grab your cigar, join the conversation. Let's light it up, spark some inspiration. The Leaf Cutters are here, the world to ignite. One stick at a time, under the porch light.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Back Porch Lounge. We are the Leaf Cutters, and we are not professionals,
but
we are here to help. I screw this up. I don't know how many times. I don't get it.
I'm not writing
just
watching
wasn't
the
anymore.
playback. At least the last 7 shows, you screwed that.
I think so. So
I'm
at
not
least I'm
writing the last
consistently
anymore,
screwing it
Michael.
up.
There you go.
What was that, Graham?
What did you say, Graham?
I said I'm not writing your lines anymore if you're going to keep screwing them up. I need a professional. I need someone that'll actually dedicate to the craft.
Yeah, I'm not doing that shit. That's too much
Do
involvement.
it.
I can't do that. That's unfair to everybody, honestly. So today is going to be kind of a special episode for us. First of all, I want to introduce this cigar, but of course, this is a Penny cigar. Thank you, Penny's Public House. It is the RoMa Craft Neanderthal. Yes, we've been doing a lot of RoMa Craft here lately, but it's thanks to Penny. Penny gave us a lot of RoMa Craft to smoke, so that's what we're smoking. So, it's not like we went out and got these. Penny actually, gave it to us. But of course,
negative.
I can't go out and get them because I'm in Georgia and we're not allowed to have RoMa Craft, evidently.
This is really negative.
What? What do you
This is
mean?
getting darker and darker. What's wrong with you?
Because nobody loves Atlanta and everybody.
Yeah,
hates
nobody
Georgia.
loves Noonan and wants to get us some RoMa Craft because we love them and they just don't want to have them. Okay, that's it. That's all there is. But we do love a RoMa Craft. I'm just saying.
That's true.
Well, I think that's biased because we're going to be reviewing this later, and you're just like, "Oh, I already love it. I haven't even put it in my mouth."
I said we love RoMa Craft. I didn't say we necessarily love the Neanderthal.
Oh, that's true. That's fair.
Ah,
You're still biased.
I've had a
You're
couple
still
of
biased.
these.
I'm going to stick by my guns. You're still biased.
I know the
Well-
answer to this question.
okay.
I'll save it for later, but I'm really looking forward to
It's
this.
like I've already smoked like 4 of these, so we're good. I know what this tastes like. But actually, Billy has a different cigar than us today.
I do.
Fortunately, we couldn't get him a RoMa Craft because, like I said, we're not allowed to have them in Noonan, evidently.
Nope.
Just saying.
I'm going with the Perdomo and Minso 70 sun grown.
And see,
So-
if we would have had RoMa
Is it
Craft
a
in our
Menso?
area, he could have smoked the same thing.
It is a mentho?
I'm kind of with Grim at this point, though. I mean, RoMa Craft, you should be throwing some love our way because I don't think there's an episode that goes by that we don't mention RoMa Craft in some way, form, or fashion. I
See, if
honestly
I complain
don't.
about it enough, people start listening.
He's like, dude, will you stop sucking them off? Jesus.
Jesus God.
When I'm thinking about the way we talk about them and not like partaking in a RoMa Craft cigar, I'm a little like, oh man, we really just jerked those guys off.
I don't we're like rah RoMa Craft.
We're not even
like,
in
wait
a
a minute.
relationship with them. Like,
I
this
know.
No, we're not. I mean,
this
there's
is
no,
Bart's
yeah.
taking it.
It's pretty much. It's like, I'm dreaming about the boy of my dreams, and it's the RoMa Craft line, and that's pretty much it. But
Cut away to large-eyed anime characters with sparklies around.
RoMa Craft. That would be hilarious as shit. I'm gonna try to do that. I'm gonna try to put that right there in that instance.
Edit it in at that
I'm sure
moment.
you can make that happen.
I want to make it happen.
Do
But
it.
today is a special episode. We're gonna it's gonna be our collectibles episode. We're gonna bring some collectibles on for you because we are cigar enthusiasts, to a T, but we're into other things too, so we like to bring to the forefront what some of our guys like to do, and that's collecting. So we are going to bring that out today. And while we're lighting up, Robert has a question.
Okay, so it's been stated in past episodes. During the Civil War times, General Grant was sent thousands of cigars to smoke. So the question popped into my head, what did he do without a humidor? How did he keep them fresh?
He smoked them first. That was about it.
Yeah, but he got like 10,000 of them. He couldn't smoke 10,000 of them at one time.
Do you know who you're talking about? He absolutely could. There are legendary smokers in history. Churchill, Grant. Yeah, like he smoked it fresh.
Yeah. Well, Robert has a point because I think the very first humidor was invented like in 1887, and that was well after the Civil War. And then the first like cabinet type humidor came around in 1907. That was actually put into shops. So the only thing I could actually think of is that they did, and this is just from seeing things like on the History Channel and things like that related to cigars, is they used to have these like metal tins that wasn't really a humidor, but it's what they would actually store cigars in. So maybe that's how it was. They just had cigars in these metal tins. I don't know, but that's a great question.
Maybe he shared them with all his troops.
I mean, that would keep
Except for
morale up,
Steve.
I would think.
Nobody shares
Fucking
Steve.
Steve.
Fucking Steve.
I'm thinking they just had underhumidified cigars.
That could have
And they
been
were
it
like
too.
happy to have it.
Or maybe they just didn't age them. Maybe they just had them sitting around, and then if they started turning, they just tossed them. I don't know. Or they just smoked really dry fucking cigars. But yeah, the first humidor to actually keep them humidified wasn't there. But you know what I also think, and correct me if I'm wrong, audience. Maybe they stored them in like root cellars and stuff like that, because they did have root cellars. So they kept, vegetables and stuff fresher in, and it was a little bit more damp down there. Why wouldn't they maybe store them in a root cellar?
And that would make pretty good sense.
That would be my guess. But I actually looked this up beforehand because it was such an in-depth question. Like, I have no idea. And I couldn't find anything on where they stored it pre, 1887, because there was no humidor before then.
You need one of the experts from the Pawn Stars to come on
I know, right?
and explain it.
Rick,
I don't
come
know
on
enough
our
about
show and
this
explain how-
topic, so I'm going to call Jim Bob. Jim Bob's an expert in cigar history, particularly around the Civil War.
I got a guy for everything.
Yep, bring in the beard of knowledge.
The beard of knowledge.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, that's a great question. That it'd probably take a little bit more further review, because I don't know. That's a great question. That definitely gets me thinking. I'm like, how would they store them? And best thing I could come up with is like a root cellar.
The cigar
Yeah,
never left the
time
man's
machine.
mouth. Ever.
Again, go ahead. Sorry. Then I'll go on my rant.
No, rant
What was
away.
that, Graham?
Oh, me? Oh, I said that a cigar never left his mouth. That's the answer.
Straight up, one right after another. He's doing
Right
it the
after another,
cigarette way and lighting the next one off the first one.
Was
Just
the,
keep
he was
going.
the founder of lung cancer. Yeah, absolutely.
Founder of lung cancer. I present to you today lung cancer.
Lung cancer.
So like the general cleanliness standards are pretty low during that time. Like people, they used to tap their hardtack to get the bugs out of it, kind of thing.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they didn't give a fuck. They were just gonna smoke them until they fell apart. And yeah, I don't think they probably cared much.
you're probably right.
I mean, I
Well,
don't
I
even
did-
think they knew germs existed until the 1800s, right? So,
Yeah.
no. What's that?
But I did find something really cool while I was searching for the humidor question. And who do you think it's just suspected? But who do you think had the first cigars?
The
Incans.
Egyptians.
Actually, it's not suspected that the Egyptians had it first.
I know the answer, so I'm just going to be quiet.
Yeah, I was about to say Robert heard it when I was reading it last night.
I'm saying the Incans.
Very close, Grim. That's a great guess.
The Mayans.
The Mayans.
Yeah, Mayans.
The Mayans were suspected to have the first cigar.
I figured it was one of the
and
big three.
Yeah, and the word cigar actually comes from the root of Cigar, or Sikar. So Cigar, that's where cigar comes from. So they suspected that the Mayans actually had, in that actual word means smoking tobacco.
Okay, you need to cut in a the more you know after that.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool when I was looking up the humidor answer. But
Yeah, that's pretty neat.
what do we think on first light up on these? I can go first. So far it's tasty. That is an actual tasty light up. It has a full, rich flavor to it. No joke. I was actually surprised on that first draw. But so far I'm digging it. How about you, Billy?
Yeah, so far on mine, it's nice flavor to begin with. The one thing that well, since it's a freaking 70, lighting it was a little bit of a chore, just to make sure it was all even. But yeah, once I got it going, yeah, really good smoke output to start with. Really good draw.
How about yours, Grim?
I can't believe you didn't have the balls to say it. We already said that we've been overly fond of RoMa Craft, and we're sexually, assaulting them at this point. I wish I had an Espinosa cigar right now.
And if any of you have seen the Hector episode with Espinosa, you'd know why he just said that.
That's
funny as shit.
I'm leaving it at that too. I'm not saying anything about the cigar. I wish I had an Espinosa.
Just skip over it.
I'm just
Skipping
skipping
that one.
Just an inside joke.
How about you, Robert?
Light up was great. Lit perfectly. It's burning nice. It's a very good cigar.
And Zach, what do you think, buddy?
Good. A little bit of kind of earthy sweetness, richness.
I was like Corinthian leather. What are we talking about?
Corinth is known for their leather.
Yeah, I'm digging that taste. There's something about that. It's a smooth taste, but very rich.
And there's if I remember correctly, there's like, I'm about to look it up. I think there's like 4 or 5 different tobaccos on this.
Yeah, look
I
that
may
up
be
if
getting
you don't mind.
confused with a different line, like the Cro-Magnon or something. But
I thought the Sabertooth was like 5 different tobaccos.
Yeah, Sabertooth I think has a couple of minutes.
Not to say that this one doesn't too.
Yeah, they could both have several different ones in it.
They can put
But
both peanut butter and jelly in it.
peanut butter gelatin, peanut butter gelatin. No, just kidding. That's a completely different podcast.
Wait,
That's a radio station, actually.
Not
Um,
anymore.
So, not anymore. You're right. So for today's collectibles, who wants to start with their collectible? We can go in alphabetical order and make Billy go first.
Oh man.
Or Robert's most excited about it, so we can make Robert go first.
And it's definitely not Graham
Robert-
because fuck y'all.
Billy can go first, but I want to show this out first. We're going to do this.
Okay, so yeah, we are having an
Damn.
unveiling.
Oh yeah, this is the moment we've all been waiting for.
This is my
Oh, wait, you gotta wait for later in the show. You can't unveil it right now. I mean, if you just give it away right now.
It's out of the box. It's
Too late. It's gotta go.
It's here.
Keep going.
2
be
weeks.
put back in.
2 weeks this is sat in my car, man. 2 weeks.
My God, it's like Christmas. You can't wait. Like I gotta open the present.
Have you looked at it?
I waited 2 weeks. No. I have not seen
Really?
this. No.
So this is an unveil for you too.
The tab is still sealed.
So you're gonna give it away right here at the beginning of the show.
Right here. Right now.
I feel like maybe this is a finale
hey,
moment.
hey.
We're,
What is it first? Geez, you just opened it like again, Christmas present. You're just sitting there ripping the thing apart, trying to get it out. You're not even telling people what the fuck it is.
Okay. So in the world of collectibles, there's a company called SWAU, and they deal with autographs. It's a monthly subscription. I've been a part of them for 4 months now, 5 months, and every month I get an autograph from someone who is in the Star Wars community, who was in one of the movies. I've gotten the girl who played Ola Ray from Return of the Jedi. I've gotten Zam Wessel from Attack of the Clones. I've gotten Admiral Piet from Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. I've got the guy who played Red 4.
which
Cool.
I feel like the best move would be to hold on to that till a little
You're going to make me wait to do
Until
this.
later
aren't
in the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a surprise for everybody. So yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
anybody
it's like-
that's watching the full length is just going to skip ahead to whatever.
Yeah. Well, you know,
Fine,
they should
fine.
stay tuned and watch the show and relax and have a cigar.
Made me wait
and, you
2
know,
weeks. I can wait 20, 30, 40 minutes.
You know, whatever. Okay.
We don't last that
So
long.
since you already
Billy,
started,
what you got?
no,
Let
you've already started, Robert. So let's
Yeah.
go ahead and talk about what your collectible is.
Okay. Over time, I've collected a lot of things. Okay. The one thing I always come back to is the trading card. It started in 1977 with Star Wars and has drifted to other things. I've done like Marvel and DC and baseball, football. Didn't get into basketball much, but 1977 rolls around and Star Wars comes out, and the Star Wars trading card comes to my attention, and yeah, it's been a lifelong love. Over time, it's changed a lot because when I started collecting cards, it was your base cards, which is for Star Wars. There were 5 base sets, 66 cards per set, and you were happy to get the sets. I got out of collecting cards for a while, and in that time, they have started what's called the chase sets. They're numbered cards. They start at, in some sets, 199 out of 199, and that's a different color border. There's a 150, there's a 99, there's a 50, and there is the much sought after 1 of 1. Of which, in all the cards that I've ever had opened for me or opened myself, I only have one of 1. That's how impossible it is to get. And this is it here. That was a very special card, and it's one I've already been offered close to $3,000 for someone to buy. And that one's staying with me. That one,
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
you know, it's special
I
to
have a-
me.
I have a question.
Yes.
Mostly just since I'm not a specifically a card collector anymore. I did collect Magic cards for a while. What is like the average number of a card in that series? If this is 1 of 1, how many of the common cards are
The
there in
base
that set? Yeah.
In that particular set, there's 100 cards.
Okay.
And then, like
There's
I said,
100
there's
cards, and normally people would be able to buy those.
Yes.
The 100 cards.
you buy a box or pack, you open it, and you get mostly base cards. Cards that are chase cards, like that one, came out of that pack. Comes out of one of those packs.
Right.
They don't tell you what pack it's in. They don't sell it special. They just put it in with all the others.
It's like the Wonka golden ticket.
Pretty much. Yeah.
That's cool.
You open the pack and you're sorting through the cards, and all of a sudden, that one pops out.
Magic.
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 That's cool.
So yeah, it's just one of
That's
those cool things that happen. And they, like, that one was the black 1 of 1s. I was like, that one, I think, was one every 8,000 packs
Wow.
with like 8 packs per box. Yeah. So
That's cool.
I mean, it's
Very
Han
cool.
Solo of all things. So that's
Right.
amazing.
Did-
that
Did you lift it up and I miss it, or I've seen a picture of it? Or we
No,
gonna
he
show,
doesn't have it with him, but we'll show the screen
Yeah.
cap of it.
Cool.
it is very cool though.
It's very cool. I've seen it, not in person.
And it just
Apparently,
popped
it's
up on
in
the
some
screen,
sort of
and I think it looks cool from the screenshot.
bunker that is deep below the Earth's mantle, guarded by sharks with frickin' laser beams and
exactly.
pressure sensitive floors that release spike traps
Yep.
and hanging axes that swing.
No, actually,
See,
what I
Zach,
think
you
it
know.
is, he just took a picture of one online. He was like, "Yeah, I got this card.
This is my car.
That's what I got."
I demand to see a current newspaper next to your face and the card.
Exactly. You damn liar! You ain't got no Han Solo.
Fake.
Fake news.
Fake news.
That's awesome.
All right. Yeah, but that's an awesome get. I mean, even for a non-card collector like myself, that would be one of those mecha things that if you actually got a 1-on-1 and something like that, that's cool as hell.
Oh yeah.
And I'm moderately familiar with the Star Wars films and appreciate them, we'll say.
Are you saying that sarcastically because of your rebel shirt there, buddy, or like?
Yeah,
A little bit. He's like, I don't write fan fiction in my spare time.
no. I might read a little bit. No.
I may have heard of that
Heard of the Star Wars?
That little startup indie film back in the day,
Couple fans.
Not that many though. All of them are terrible people.
Every single one of them.
All three.
All three of them. And I think they're all on this podcast. No, wait, there's one that's out sick today, and that's Andy. So
Yeah.
I was gonna say Andy's a pretty
Four.
big Star Wars fan. Okay, so 4, 5, 6. There's 6.
Yeah,
there's
Andy
six.
caught Ebola or something. He's bleeding out of the eyes and nose and ears or something.
Is that what he's doing? Holy
he'll be back
shit!
next week, folks.
He'll probably be back next week, though.
He'll be fine.
Is this why you guys
He just
didn't tell
needs-
me before the show?
You just need to sweat. You just need to sweat it out.
Just
That's
sweat
it.
it out.
Put some Windex on it. You'll be fine.
some tussin.
Some tussin. Get some tussin.
Get some tussin.
The Tussin.
All right. So, which one of y'all want to go next, Grim or Billy?
Not me.
Okay, he
Oh,
doesn't
yeah.
want to go. All
It's
right.
like deja redo all over again.
I know, right?
I don't want a second spot. I'm going last. I'm going
I
last.
want last because that
I'll
means
go.
I've postponed as much as I possibly can.
All right, Billy's going next.
Cool.
You want to do a little intro? There you go. There we go.
I got you. So, pretty much ever since I've been a kid, I've been, obsessed with all things technology. I call it technolust. So, over the years, over collecting video games and, anything being like old stereo equipment to, pretty much anything technology, laser disc players, I pretty much have an obsession with, but video games would probably be my number one, and video game consoles more so than even the games, I would think, just because I've always had this curiosity with the technology behind them and who made them and the history behind them and this and that. So the one I've got to show today is probably my most obscure console. So the Nintendo Entertainment System. Everybody played it growing up. In Japan, it was called the Famicom. It actually came out like a year or two earlier in Japan, and it looked quite a bit different. And at a certain point, Nintendo decided that they wanted to come up with a way to be able to save your games, because originally they didn't have batteries inside the cartridges to be able to do any save games. So that's why you saw some of the early NES games have a password system. Like the Metroid.
Yeah.
Justin Bailey.
Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson Punch Out.
Yep. So they came up with, in Japan, a disk drive that you could add to it. You could save your games to, and they also had like kiosks where you could go and put in a blank disk and download a game into the disk drive, take it with you, take it home, play the game.
That's cool.
And then at some point, Nintendo licensed out their system to Sharp, and Sharp put both the regular Famicom and the disk system all into one system. And that's what I've got today. This is actually the second variation of it, right here.
Ooh.
It's called the Twin Famicom. Which,
Man, that's geeky as shit.
yeah.
That's geeky as fuck.
That's
love
geeky as fuck
And
right
you see,
there.
it's got we've got Super Mario Brothers 3. This is the Japanese version.
Ooh,
Yeah.
nice.
The cartridges are a lot smaller than the NES games.
Yeah,
and
that's
they're
almost
all-
like the Nintendo 64.
Yeah, they're actually smaller. And
Yeah.
the crazy thing about that is the PCB, the actual motherboard on the inside of the cartridge, is basically the same size in America than it is in Japan. with the exception of the pin layouts being a little bit different. But they decided in America that they didn't want to have it look like a toy. Because there was a video game crash that happened after like 1983, and Nintendo didn't want to be associated with that. So in America, they made the NES look more like a VCR. That's why it looks the way it does. But in Japan, totally different situation. But the discs are not like a regular floppy disk. They're proprietary. They only work in this one system.
So even then, Nintendo was like, "You got to get your shit from us."
Yep, exactly, exactly. From the very beginning. But that's just probably one of the most obscure things I've got. This one is a little bit different than the original one. This one is they call it the Twin Famicom Turbo because the controllers have built-in turbo function.
Nice.
The other thing about the Famicoms that are different than the NES is that the controllers are hardwired into the system, because in Japan they were under the assumption that kids or whoever's going to play the games was going to sit right up next to the TV, because most TVs were smaller back then. So they just went ahead and hardwired them into the system. Also, the controllers are a little bit smaller because difference in people, difference in the size of the population.
But didn't the controllers like sit on each side of the console?
Yes, in the
original one, right?
Nintendo one, it does. On this one, it's just on the back.
It's on the back. Okay.
See,
that's it.
Neat.
So
I'm about to say, in the original one, it was like an ugly burgundy and white or cream colored one.
Yeah, it's one of those
controllers sat right on the side.
Yeah, it grows on you. I am fond of that design. It is one of those you see it first and you're like, what the hell is that? But it's pretty cool. As far as that goes, I think I don't know why I got into the Japanese stuff. Actually, I do know. In the back of Electronic Gaming Monthly, the old gaming magazine that was probably the number one video game magazine back in the day. They had advertisements.
Nintendo Power. Yeah, that's what I would have said.
Well, I mean, that was just Nintendo exclusively, though. I'm talking, for every system.
There was nothing else back in the day, buddy.
There's
Nintendo Power was it.
Anyway.
I'm always curious if they wrote articles for Nintendo Power with the Power Gloves on.
I mean, I would assume so.
Yeah.
Well, absolutely.
They didn't have the power to write what they needed to write then at that point, right? Like that.
Well, that's it. But you're talking about typing. Remember the Power Glove? It had like a keyboard on it.
Mm-hmm.
You could type.
On
the Power Glove.
That too. Yeah.
Straight from the Power Glove.
Power Glove wasn't made by Nintendo.
Yeah, I know that.
It was made by Mattel.
Yeah.
Actually, it may have been somebody different, but Mattel licensed it for America.
Mattel licensed it, but it was made though, and that's part of the reason why a lot of the stuff that the Power Glove was made for didn't quite work right.
No, it was really cool. I of course had to have one when they came out, because the movie The Wizard came out, and I mean, it's the Power Glove. It's so bad.
Yeah. Well, when the Wizard came out, okay, you remember the game that they were playing when he introduced the Power Glove? Rad Racer.
Yeah.
You could not play Rad Racer with the Power Glove.
No, I tried.
It did not work.
You couldn't play anything with the Power Glove, to be honest.
No, that's not true. The only thing I found that you could actually play with the Power Glove was a game called Gyromite that was built for the robot.
Yeah.
You could actually use the Power Glove to do it because it was only 2 buttons.
Yeah, that game was infuriating as fuck. That robot, when the NES originally came out in America, I had gotten the big deluxe set that had Rob the Robot in it.
I had it. Yep.
Opened it for Christmas morning, stuck in Gyromite, tried to figure it the fuck out. And after like several days, we were like, this just doesn't work worth a damn. This sucks. It looked awesome. I was really like depressed that it didn't work. Ended up taking it back, getting the base set and picking up a couple of extra games instead of instead of that. You know, it was cool, but it did kind of suck.
Well, I mean, we could probably have a whole nother episode about Rob the Robot, because I can tell you about the stories I had with that little fucker.
Yeah.
But we won't go into that this episode. But getting back to your system. Oh, go ahead, bro.
Can you still find games for that? Like eBay and shit like that?
Oh yeah, there's plenty on eBay. Now the pricing's all over the fucking place, of course, because retro games are, unfortunately, the prices are insane. And if you didn't start collecting them when people didn't want them, then you're kind of out of luck unless you want to pay a premium.
Yeah.
Or you can get lucky sometimes and find deals. I ended up getting a bunch of lots and just picking through games that I wanted and just reselling the ones that were basically like a bunch of like mahjong games and sports games, RPGs that I loved, but I can't fucking read a Japanese RPG. That's why the games that I tend to collect for are, games that you don't really have to read to be able to play, like shooters and platformers like Mario and stuff like that. The only RPG. What's that?
There's a solve for that now.
What's that?
You break out Google Translator while you're playing and have it pointed at the screen.
No,
and then you can play the fucking game.
You legit could do that now.
You could do that.
Pretty cool.
Or the simpler thing to do is just to play the patched English version of the game.
Yeah, I mean, you could do
right.
that, and that makes sense.
Well, even simpler is just learn
Have
Japanese.
somebody tell you what the word means. Come on.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, you bring your Japanese friend over and say, "Hey, what's that say?"
Sit with me while I play this entire game. I want you to read
Can't
everything
move while I'm playing the game.
Read everything. He's like, really? Did you bring me over here for this? I thought we were going to play a game. I am playing a game.
We're going to play Dragon
reading
Quest
the
1
shit.
through 6 on the NES.
You can't leave until I'll feed you, and I'll give you water, and there's the bathroom, but only when I pause it.
I have a friend who was obsessed with the Final Fantasy series in his we'll say preteen and early teens especially, and he would play, like, he was constantly trying to get was it Final Fantasy 2 on Famicom that wasn't released in the US.
Yep.
And he was constantly like saving his allowance to try to order one of those on eBay. I don't know if he ever did, but I feel like there was maybe an adapter that you could play Famicom games and so he was ready to get that as well, but he was super stoked. I think he ended up playing an emulated copy, but
right.
I remember how excited he was when he finally got to play that game.
Was it 2 or 1? I thought 1 never released here in the States.
1 did. 2 and 3 never came out in America, at least originally.
Okay,
and 5.
I had it backwards. Yeah.
And 5 never came out, which was a Super Nintendo game. That's why the numbering is all screwed up. That's why you get 1 for the NES, 2 for the Super Nintendo, which is actually 4, and then 6, which is what we call 3. And then it jumped on the PlayStation, and then it jumps to 7, and then people that didn't know what the hell was going on, they're like, where the hell did the rest of the games go?
Right?
It's 6, man.
Yeah.
But one of the other little facts that I was going to say about the Famicom is the sound hardware in the Japanese version of the system is actually more capable than the American version. For whatever reason, there's like an FM synthesis chip that they added as an extra on the Japanese version that they didn't bring to the US. And there are some games that really take advantage of it in Japan, and you can really hear the difference. Like Castlevania 3 is one of the big ones. If you go try to find a copy of the Japanese version, which is like called Akumaju Densetsu or something like that. But
yeah, what he said.
Yeah, that game is like ridiculous in price just because people know that the sound is better on that. And
that's cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it costs extra money. That's what that means. All right.
That's awesome.
So, anything else to add to that one?
All good.
All right.
One of the
Then, Grim,
things
you're-
Billy talks about games. One of my favorite stories is the night I went over to Billy's house to hang out. That's what we would do when I first met Billy. We'd go to Billy's house and hang out. And I got there, and the guys are all there, and we're sitting around. And I'm like, "Where's Billy?" And they're like, "Oh, he's at Best Buy." Was it Xbox One?
Or probably the original Xbox.
Was it?
Yeah.
He's at Best Buy getting the Xbox.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell are we doing here? We're hanging out. I'm like, is he really is he really out there? They're like, yep, he's out there.
he's got
Dedicated
his
to the
tent.
cause.
He's got his thermos. He's got his blanket. He's there for the duration. So, in normal RoMa Craft fashion, it is hard as hell to get this band off. I mean, I swear to God, they put super glue on these things. But
Mine
where are
came
we
right
at in
off.
our smoke?
I like how
about-
Billy's holding his up like it's to match ours.
Yeah, let me.
Well, do we need to do a halfway check-in?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. Oh, I'm still trying to peel the band. All right. What's really cool about the secondary band? It's, I don't know if you can see it, but like it's evolution of man. It's the
Except in the
I don't know.
middle. What the hell is that in the middle?
I think it's a cave drawing. Is
Sort of
one
make
them.
it out. It kind of just looks
Yeah, I
like
think
rice
it's like a-
paper.
yeah, it's hard to see, but yeah, it's the evolution of man. It's kind of
Oh,
cool.
well, I don't know what that is. Maybe that's
Maybe that's the extra glue that they use to get this damn band on.
I don't know. Maybe that's the country that the Neanderthal was discovered in.
Maybe.
That
You
might
know,
have to
I'm gonna-
research
I'm going to
that.
go on par with our conversation so far, and that is a Final Fantasy logo.
That's it. That's definitely it.
So-
So halfway point on mine.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've had to touch it up a few times now. I don't know because it's the dampness of the weather or whatever, but yeah, I've had to touch it up several times. Now that it's gone out, it hasn't gone out, but it's just burning like weird on mine. But still a full body cigar. Still has that great taste when I lit up. Hasn't gotten any stronger, hasn't gotten any weaker. It has stayed consistent so far. And I'm, of course, still enjoying it. How about you, Billy, and that Perdomo?
Perdomo's treating me pretty damn good so far. The flavor I'm getting out of this, I think I'm picking up a little bit of leather, just kind of on the retro hail, just that kind of natural earthy leathery flavor. But I think this will be this is more of a medium body cigar, not really super heavy, but flavor wise it's pretty strong, but pretty good on the mouthfeel. Nothing as far as leaving any kind of film in your mouth or anything like that. But yeah, so far I'm digging it.
It's great. I just retro held mine, and I have tears.
It's spicy.
That is some spice, baby. I don't think I haven't retro held. I think this is the second one I've had. The first one I had was a Segundo, and I didn't retro held that one, but I did retro held this one, and whoo, yeah, that'll get you by the boo boo if you ain't careful. How about you, Grim?
Yep.
Yep. It wasn't a it wasn't a yeah, it was a yup.
Yep.
Gotcha. Still wishing you had a Espinosa?
Yep.
Hector for life.
How about you, Robert?
I did have an uneven burn, which I touched up. But outside of that, I've had no problems with it. Burning well, great input, great output. It's a beautiful thing.
Awesome. Zach?
So I looked up what was in this because I remembered it being like a lot. It is a Mexican San Andreas wrapper with Connecticut broadleaf binder and fillers from Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, and Pennsylvania. So that's a lot of stuff, which I think is a really good blend on this one. I'm still getting a little bit of the sweetness, which I kind of associate with San Andreas. I'm not sure that that's the proper association technically, but it's a thing I notice in some San Andreas cigars I've had with that wrapper, and I think I'm enjoying this more than the last one I had, which was phenomenal. So I'm sitting pretty over here. This is good.
So what you're saying is, I think the last one you rated really freaking high. We're gonna have to raise our rating system just to get this one in there. Is that what you're saying?
5.25.
I vaguely remember my previous rating, and right now we're on track for better than that.
Grim just shaking his head like, "What the hell? These people aren't paying us."
They're not paying
And I
us.
wish they
like,
were.
We're not getting their number. We're not going out for dinner and a movie. Like you guys are whores. They're whores.
But let's. Well, to be fair, have we ever asked for any of that from RoMa Craft?
No,
Exactly. So you get 100% of what you don't ask for.
and we definitely got
Sure.
that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Definitely just that.
So I'm going to jump in with a collectible that I do. And, well, again, I'll go back because we have talked about collectibles in the past, and my collectible isn't necessarily ones that I buy for myself. People have bought for me. But since I've gotten quite a number of them now, I have to say I'm a collector of them because I enjoy them. I like them. When I do get a new one, I cherish them. But the pop figures, I like the pop figures. My go-tos are like the ones I like the most are like the Ted Lassos. I love the Ted Lassos, because I love the show, and I like looking at them on my shelf because I have them in my office and they're all lined up and displayed and they're nice and cool. And I will look over at them and be like, "Oh man, I really want to watch Ted Lasso." And then same thing. I have the Tony Soprano, where Tony Soprano's in his robe and he has the little duck. And I'm like, "Oh man, I got to go back and watch Sopranos again." It has that feeling for me, and I think that's what they were designed for. They bring up that nostalgia when you look at each individual pop figure. And there's so many of them. There are, I don't know, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of them at this point. And it's literally the pop. It's everything from pop culture, and they started. I think when they started back with historical characters like, well, I don't know, but historical and pop related things, like Marilyn Monroe and Elvis and different things like that. They've had in pop all the way up to today's characters. All your Grim. Okay, Grim needs to pop for a second.
No. Keep going. I got you, boo.
Okay. So, but yeah, with the pop characters, they're bringing out nostalgia of everything. And like I said, they've gone back in history, give you historic ones, but they're also doing like new things that come out on like YouTube and things like that you can get, and TikTok and things. You can get pop characters like that. And it's really cool because you can find your niche. Even if you're not a collector or anything like that, you can find a cool little pop figure that you would probably find a connection to. Like one random day, somebody gave me Phil from Groundhog Day. And I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. Because I love that movie. And, now I have the characters from Christmas Vacation. Because, who doesn't love Eddie? Who doesn't love Clark?
Right.
And you look at those and you're like, yeah, you love them. So it's one of those collections that, yeah, it was given to me, but I really like. And here's a picture of those.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Those are cool.
Yeah. I just like them. So that's my take on them. I really like, I don't know. Some of them are going for a lot of money. Like the Elvis one I was talking about, one of the original Elvis ones, it goes for thousands of dollars.
Yeah, there's a lot of them that are like exclusive to different events. Like there's some San Diego Comic-Con ones. There's a lot of different conventions that have different ones. But I think my son has. Oh man, I want to say it's a Five Nights at Freddy's exclusive San Diego Comic-Con. I think it's like a Golden Freddy or something like that. But it just. I don't even remember how he ended up getting it, but it was just kind of like, whoa, that's cool. Get that.
Yeah, they have those, and they have store exclusive ones too. Like there's some you can only get at like GameStop. There's some you can only get at Target. There's some you can only get through Walmart. And it could be the same character. So for like example, I have 2 different Ted Lassos. The Ted Lasso that I originally got was a Walmart, or it was either Walmart or Target exclusive, and he has the British teacup. But the regular Ted Lasso doesn't.
Yeah.
So there's different variations of it as well. Not that I'm going that deep into it. I don't have to have 3 different Ted Lassos because I have to have each one.
Yes,
but
you do.
You mean I got to take the other 2 back? Damn it!
But I do like them, and I think they're very cool. Now, there's some like people on TikTok that are like, have you seen the videos of them sawing the heads off and there's something inside of them?
Yeah.
I think that's a bunch of bullshit because I'm never going to take it out of the box and cut the head off of it to see, but maybe they are putting stuff in them. I don't know.
They're smuggling drugs.
I'm about to go buy one I don't care about.
Fucking pop figures.
You got like 3 ounces of
it has a
heroin in
certain
your
pop
house
to it,
and you
doesn't
didn't
it?
even know it.
But yeah, I mean these suckers are collectibles, and it's weird all the weird different things that collectibles have that you can are the different things that you can collect. Like everybody, I think I was having a discussion with Robert offline. Everybody has a collection of some sort. They may not think about it, but they're collecting something.
Yeah.
Like Zach, you were a big collector of bourbon. You may not have thought it was a collection, but you had a lot of bourbons.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that's
I
a
drank
collection.
most of it when we moved.
I mean, that's one that's worth it. And that's the one that you actually do want to open and have out of the box. Damn it!
I did. While you guys were talking, I was trying to think of things that I collected, and I've collected things as a kid and that I no longer really like actively collect, but I still have in a box in storage. but I collected stamps as a kid, and my dad traveled a little bit when I was younger, and he would pick up interesting stamps from different places that he was for work, and family would like hang on to interesting stamps from other countries and stuff. And
That's cool.
I collected hat pins as a kid, and I still have them again somewhere in storage. But I was the kid that had like a hat with like 500 pins on it.
That's awesome. When I was younger, I collected baseball cards, and I collected a similar story. My mom worked for Georgia Pacific, and a lot of the executives that she worked for would go overseas and things like that, and they would give me the leftover currency that they had. So I was collecting, currency from different places, and some of the rarest ones that I got were like one of the guys brought me back some coins from the People's Republic of China, which then nobody was being allowed in there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so
That's
it was like really cool to get some coins from the People's Republic of China that technically weren't even supposed to be here in the States because Americans weren't supposed to be in there.
Yeah. Now that you mention it, I collected coins, or still collect coins a little bit, and money and stuff. Always looking for those special misprints and mismarked coins and stuff that are worth crazy amounts of money.
Oh yeah, that's a rabbit hole right there, man.
Yeah.
I mean, because you can make some serious money off a misprinted coin.
Yeah, for sure.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that like foreign currency was something that I got into for quite a while when I was a kid. Ended up, I think it was a JC Penney magazine where they were offering like just they sold it in like weight. It was like buy a pound of world currency or whatever, and we ordered it, and it was this giant bag. Went through it, and there was like was it liras? Is that Italian money? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
lots of different, currencies from Europe that doesn't exist anymore because they're all using euro now. So so that was pretty cool. Some of the other ones I did notice was how light and cheap some of the money felt. Just was like, it was like aluminum, just like pressed aluminum. And then I had some that were shaped in octagons. Some of them had holes punched out of the centers of them. I think there was one that was like a triangle. It was like a not with like smooth edges, and I was like,
interesting,
just really like curious about all the different currencies. So yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Some going back to your Pawn Stars reference, some of my favorite episodes of Pawn Stars is when they bring in the rare coins that you never see.
Yeah.
Like one that sticks out in my head is like somebody brought in a coin from Julius Caesar times, and it was Brutus.
Yeah, and it ended up being real.
Yeah, it ended up being real, and that was worth a lot of freaking money. I was like, Jesus.
And it was like in immaculate condition. It was like it was, it didn't look like it was more than a couple hundred years old instead of a couple thousand years old.
Yeah, because you can actually still read the writing on it, what it said.
Yeah.
You could see the picture clearly on the coin. It was awesome, and I was just like, maybe I should get back into coin collecting again. But
that's a deep rabbit hole, just like you said, though.
Yeah,
you get into that.
It's a deep rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Well, that's the main problem with a lot of collectibles today anyway. I mean, people know now what the collectible is. So you're not, even, for example, so I know Grimm's going to talk about his comics. I remember comics when I started collecting them. They were like, $1, $2 a book. And now, what are comics priced at these days, Grim?
Starting at $4.
Yeah.
Still not bad though.
Not bad, no. But then you have
when
the
you buy
variation.
30 of them in a at a time, and then it's a little bit of a heart attack.
Yeah,
Well,
I think
yeah.
we'll wait until we shift into Grimm's conversation before we get too far into the comics. But yeah, I definitely got into that for quite some time.
So to reinforce Ben's though, for pop figures, there's also the habit of getting your pop figures autographed.
Yeah.
As Ben will show you a photo later, but that's Steve from Blue's Clues.
Yay!
Yeah, we met Steve at the Atlanta Comic Convention. It was a very interesting moment. He was a very nice guy.
That's awesome. And if you don't remember Steve, you weren't part of the original Blue's Clues
You
members.
didn't watch the good Blues Clues.
You didn't watch the good Blues Clues because Steve was the good one. But bring back that next one, Grim. I want to see that one again.
So
Is that Joker?
It's Joker, because at one point in time for the New 52, when they rebooted DC Comics, he kind of cut his face off as a go fuck yourself to people or whatever, and then retrieved said face and belt strapped it to his face, and there was this entire crossover series for just that particular Joker, but it's signed by the writer and artist of that series.
That's really cool.
That's awesome. See, I haven't gotten that deep into it. But again, like I said, most of mine are gifted to me. So, majority of mine are gifted. I think I finally broke down and bought 2 pop figures. And they were for my wife because I knew that she wanted those. So I got them for her. But all the rest of them have been given to me. So, but I love them. I think they're great. So let's get off my bullshit. And since Robert's already brought up Grimm's, Grimm, how about yours, buddy?
I don't have one.
Okay. So Grimm has no collection.
No,
He's not into anything. He's just
my living room is
bastard.
actually empty. It has a futon on one side and a little Zen garden in the middle, and nothing in the rest of it. I don't collect anything. I have no addictions, no hobbies. Please help.
Yeah. And if I was about to call bullshit and start explaining what's in his living room, but I'm not going to go there.
No, ahead. Go ahead. Make
Okay, so
it sound bad.
when
Make
you
it sound
walk-
bad.
Right, when you walk into Grimm's house, okay, you have first you're assaulted by all the stuff on the walls, right? It's
Assaulted.
records that have been signed. It's stuff that other things have been signed. It's cartoons that he has drawn at different conventions by artists of comic books and stuff like that, and they're signed and on the walls. But that's just the walls. Now, when you look a little bit further, you see like game chests from like video games that, you know, like what was it? Fallout. He has Fallout stuff. He has Alan Wake stuff that's up on his like figurines and things. He has so many things. And then you get to the bookshelves. He has nothing but books by certain authors that are just on there, and I'm pretty sure all of them are signed. And
All of
some
them.
authors, they're all signed. Yeah.
yeah, so and then records. He also has records that are signed. Yeah, he has a few collections, but I didn't even get to the collection that he was supposed to talk to you about today, but because I'm going to let him do that. But yeah, he's not a collector whatsoever.
Nope. And somehow I got married, had kids. I'm not a nerd. Yay!
Dodge the bullet.
Dodge the bullet there. Oh, my wife hates me. Yeah. So. No, comics was the one I was going to bring today because that's the one I've kind of delved into the most. I have roughly 7,000 comics.
Roughly.
So just a few.
Roughly. Just a few.
Starter kit.
But the reason I brought comics was they take, you know, beforehand comic collecting was just I have this issue and I have, you know, a straight run of whatever, or I have these special items or whatever. But now they actually do grading of comic books where you submit to a company your comic book, which hold on, I'll put it a little bit closer here. And they give you a score and basically seal that thing tight in a plastic encapsulating for all time to prove that your comic was in that shape at that point in time. Like, and it's a huge, it just, the amount of people that have graded comics or do graded comics now is just, it's insane. Like, just to do this one we were at C2E2 for this one. We got it graded because we got it signed by the author. I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. The artist, Chip Zdarsky, was he was the artist. The line just to have somebody come witness it because it has to be witnessed by a licensed individual, like hours, just so we could say, "Hey, come watch him sign this, so I can give you my goddamn comic, so you guys can ship it off for 2 or 3 weeks, and then let me never look at it again." Well, I look at the front of it. I look at the front of it.
Yeah.
I don't.
So
I
let me
don't
ask
read
you
the
this question.
inside anymore. That day's gone.
That's for
So
suckers.
is the reason you have 7,000 comics because you actually have 3,500, one that you got graded, and then one that you actually got to read?
No, actually, I only have, I want to say 6 graded comics. And 2 of them were gifts, and then 3 of them I bought myself, and then 1 I inherited. But yeah, I don't really do a whole lot of the grading. I want to do a little bit more of it, but like not a whole lot, because once again, like that comic, I can't read it. I can't show it to anybody. I just have it in my phone. So it's basically for resale value later. Like my wife likes to say at conventions where we're in front of like an artist or an actor or something like that, and they're like, "Oh, hey, you're getting stuff signed, blah 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 blah. That's really cool." And she's like, "Yeah, no, it's my inheritance because when he dies, I'm selling all this shit."
And that autographing process is no joke because, like Grim is saying, if you don't get it graded right there when they're signing it, the value on that comic drops if you take that comic home and then try to get it graded, because it acts, especially with the graders, they will consider any autograph that's not legit or they can't verify as just basically somebody taking a marker and writing on it, and they'll knock it down.
It'd be the same as if your kid took a crayon to it.
Yeah,
right.
It's that serious when they grade those suckers.
It could be in perfect condition. You could spend $100 on the autograph, but in the end run, they'll knock you out for it.
So if you don't get it graded right there when they're signing it, you might as well forget. Unless you just have a diehard fan that knows that it's a legit autograph, and it not be graded, then you could probably get some money out of it. But yeah, it's crazy with those gratings, man.
Yeah, grading is one of those things that's kind of moved on to other industries as well. Like in video games, they started doing that with classic
video
games,
movies.
Yeah,
I think they do records.
Yeah, records.
Like I saw, they did the original Super Mario Brothers just went up for auction. It was graded. It was like a 9.6 or a 9.8, and it went for like, I don't know, $2 million.
Holy smokes!
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah,
something is
But that was
crazy for that.
That was in the box. That was in the original box.
It was sealed in the original box.
Yeah, sealed original box.
Yeah, I just.
But it's still ridiculous.
I still have a hard time, cope. It's like it's not like something that's uncommon. I mean, sure, the being sealed is uncommon, but the fact that you can play Super Mario Brothers anywhere on anything. So it's like I don't see where the $2 million price tag comes from. I can see maybe a couple $1,000.
It's the rarity.
But,
it's the rarity of it, because you can't go out and find another sealed copy of Mario Brothers just off the shelf or at a pawn store or anything else like that. Like if somebody has that, it's like squirreled away in a private safe or a vault, and not going to be seen until an estate sale.
Yeah, it's like the Star Wars figures in the packaging are insane.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother bag of cats right there, man.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard like just empty packaging.
I think old
being sold for crazy money. Yeah.
Star Wars are the ones that I think sell for the most or the most sought after.
I think Star Wars and
there was one that came out with the first Star Wars, and it was Boba Fett and his rocket fighter, and the only way you could get it, I think, was like mail in. And when they discovered kids were eating the rocket, they immediately stopped. And now, if you can find one with the rocket that fires, you got big bucks, especially if it's graded.
But even with the Star Wars, not just Star Wars, the original G.I. Joes, and I'm not talking about the little ones. Those go for a lot of money too.
The 12-inch
dolls,
ones.
yeah, the 12-inch G.I. Joe dolls, which was with the original ones. Those go for good money too if you can find those in the box. Yeah. It's so crazy how much this stuff goes for, and it's all nostalgia. It's like somebody's like, I played with that when I was a kid. I want to have it. It blows me away, and it goes back to the pop figures. I see the pop figure like, ooh, I really like that because it brings back nostalgia of what I saw.
Yeah, it's the same for any of these markets. Like with video games, as the audiences get a little bit older, that's when you start to pick up in value. Because now you're starting to see things like Nintendo GameCube games and Sega Dreamcast games skyrocket in value because the kids that were playing those are now starting to get nostalgia for those games.
And they have disposable income.
Yep. So
they're not
now,
on mommy's coin purse at this point.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yeah, it was. There was a point in time where places were giving that shit away. You could buy a GameCube game for pennies on the dollar, and now certain games are several hundred. And it's like it's hard to come to grips with some of that. It's like, man, why did I not just keep those games?
Yeah.
If I think about the things I used to trade in when GameStop was the thing to do for the longest time,
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I traded in Def Jam's Fight for New York for like $2 at one point in time. That thing goes for like $300-400 right now for just a regular copy, not even like sealed or anything like that.
I know, just a physical copy of it. Because nowadays you can emulate all of them. You can emulate all the old systems and play all the games you want, but it's not. For me, it's not the same. That's popping that disc in the Dreamcast and playing it on that bulky hamburger fucking remote. It was just fun that way, I even,
it was such a cool system.
It was, and I loved. I think Billy or Robert was the only one I knew that had the cartridge that you could plug into the Dreamcast remote, and it actually had a screen on it. and you can actually
I've got some of those somewhere.
I have one
level
of
up your
those.
you can level up your character outside of the game by playing a little mini game on that sucker, and you could actually level up your character on it. So if you're on the go and you want to raise them a couple of levels, you could do that, and then pop it back into the Dreamcast. It'll come back up on the screen, and it'll be at the level that you had them at.
That was the
It was so freaking innovative and cool.
yeah. The Dreamcast is one of those systems that, even though it only really was on the market for 2 or 3 years, the kind of mark that it left on the industry is like everlasting. Like, people are still like independently making games for that system, and
Really?
that what you're talking about is called the VMU, the virtual memory or visual memory card, because it was just a memory card. They sold ones without the screen, but the ones that Sega sold, had the screen on it. It had it was like a little tiny Game Boy, but they've created a modern age version of the VMU now that has I think it has an OLED screen, and it has like 1,000 times the capacity of the original, just because we have the technology for it.
Technology, yeah.
So, I mean, people are making all kinds of hardware for these old systems. Like, what you can get now is optical drive emulators, which you can take your disk drive out of that old system and replace it with a flash card reader or an internal solid state drive, and you can put all your games on that one thing. Turn on your system, pick the game you want to play, and you're playing that actual game on the real system. So
That's pretty cool.
there's
I didn't know
all
about
kind.
that.
It's like the retro scene is like insane. How it just keeps going, keeps improving.
And it's on the old system. Like what you're talking about is like you take a PS2, for example,
Mm-hmm.
and you throw a hard drive in it, and there's some kind of adapter you have to put on it. But it's cheap. It's cheap to get that adapter. It's not expensive to get the hard drive either. And you have not just PlayStation games like you can get the original PlayStation games like PS1 games, PS2 games, load them all up on there. But you can actually put other consoles on there too, so you can actually select the different console that you want to play and play all the games.
And
it's
I had a disc for my Dreamcast that a friend made that had original Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and one other system on it that it would boot up and had saves and stuff. You can do a save state on it. It was that's when I learned that I did not miss out playing Ninja Gaiden, the original one, as a kid, because that's just a exercise in frustration.
It's a repeated dick punch.
That is partly true with the difficulty of old games. You try to go play an old game on a new TV with one of the older systems, and it's frustrating as hell because you're missing jumps, and you're getting hit all the time, and it's like, what the hell? I don't remember sucking this bad at this game. But part of the issue is latency with the new TVs. So we didn't have that on the old CRT televisions. So that's one of the reasons why people want to collect these old TVs, is because when you try to take one of these old systems and scale it up to 1080p, 4K, or whatever, it creates latency. So when you're pressing a button on your controller, it takes more than a split second to actually respond, and you can actually feel that response time when you're actually playing, and especially if you go back and forth between an old TV and something new. So that's a big thing.
I've noticed that in current consoles. We've got a PS5 and we hooked it up to our TV, and I was playing what's the name of the game? It's the Star Wars Cal Kestis game, the first one.
Oh, Jedi. Outcast or no? Last Survivor or
Fallen Order.
Yeah,
Fallen Order. There we go.
And
I was going to say
I
Old
was
Republic,
like, yeah, that's the different one.
They're all good guesses.
But one of the boss fights is pretty challenging. Was challenging for me, and I was like, man, it's like there's too much latency in my TV for me to be able to do this well.
Yeah. But going back to what you were saying, is like with the Dreamcast, I'm not going to point out who taught us this, but you could actually put a disc in. It'll read the disc, and then you could play burn disc Dreamcast disc.
Oh yeah,
Back in the
I
day,
don't know
so you could
anybody
have-
who did that. What do you
I don't
think?
know
There was
anybody
a-
with that.
there was a company that got in. I think they got sued out of existence. I think it was called Bleem.
Bleem. Yep, I had
Yeah.
I bought the Bleem disc
Yeah,
back in the day. It let you play PlayStation games.
yeah, all kinds of hack stuff, and it works pretty well.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
There was a company that was out around the same time that Bleem came out called Connectix, and Connectix was sued by Sony back in the day because Connectix allowed you to take your PlayStation games and play them on the computer.
Yeah.
And they released it on the Mac, I believe, and Sony ended up trying to sue them. They lost in court, so they ended up buying the company and killing it.
Wow.
I mean, they
Oh,
made
that's
the
one way
money.
to do it.
It's pretty funny.
hey, if you want something off the market, you got to pay for it.
My
Yeah.
dream may have died, but I am rich beyond dreams.
Exactly. Let's go on to the next thing we could fuck over.
Mhm.
Just wait one console generation, we can do this again.
Oh shit! All right. So how are we doing on our cigars? I'm actually not quite there.
Now,
You're getting pretty low. Robert's done. You're low, and Grim's pretty much there. Do we want to rate it yet, or we want to wait a few minutes?
I think we should rate it after Robert's reveal.
Oh yeah. Robert's got to do his
yeah.
reveal. I'm sorry, man. Made you wait
Zach
this whole
loves
time.
me.
You're like, you son of a bitch! I'm going to kill you.
I will come over to your house.
I'm going to come over to your house. I'm going to curb stomp your ass.
Then
So
we'll
here's
have your
the-
dinner.
Then I'm going to eat your dinner.
So now
All
we're
right,
going
so
to
let's-
open it.
Let's see this pretty reveal.
Watch it be like
Yes.
Harry Fisher, and he's like, I'm not giving away anymore.
Damn. Childproof.
Super packed in there. That's good for a collector, though. We like bubble wrap and
Oh, yeah.
and support. You know,
Okay, so that's the side with the picture.
You're just lucky they didn't bend it and put it in your mailbox. That's all I'm saying.
Right?
oh my god,
Okay,
Are we
so.
ready?
Oh, wait.
Yep.
It's Darth Vader.
I saw
Oh,
Darth
shit.
Vader. I saw Darth
Wait a
Vader.
minute.
I saw a billionaire.
Wait a minute. There's a picture on that side. And a picture on that side. This
You
is
got
unusual.
It screwed up and doubled up.
Oh,
All right, lift it up. I can't see it all. Oh,
Oh,
that's pretty cool.
That's from
Lift it up.
Is this
Rogue One.
Rogue One. Yeah.
Rogue One?
Rogue
Yeah.
One.
Is that Alan
And-
Tudyk's?
Yeah. That's his name. Alan Tudyk.
Nice. Yeah.
Sweet.
And this side is someone I've never seen.
That's not. It looks like Wedge from here.
His name is Jack McKenzie as Cal Elder.
Okay.
Okay.
He was in the Star Wars
He
universe.
was in the third row of the group of people that were talking about destroying the Death Star, but they were like, "Nah, we'll wait until Luke gets here." And then they cut that scene, and then he wasn't in the.
This
Oh,
is
He was on set, but never on film.
this is kind of unusual though, because
Yeah, you got two.
Yeah, but Alan Tudyk, man, that's awesome.
That is
Yeah,
cool.
that's a good get right there.
yeah, it
He's-
is.
He's awesome.
And you know,
that
Zach with the
character is
nerd
so
power
good.
there, just pulling out Alan Tudyk there.
Well, I mean, when I found out he was the voice of the droid, I was like,
It fit.
my Firefly nerd flag just was like full up.
Got it. Ding.
Pretty awesome right there.
yeah. To
That is
relate
pretty cool.
to the Star Wars thing, there was something that kind of brings everything together. So about a year ago, I was making themes for RetroPie, which is an emulation platform for old games. And there's a YouTuber that his channel is called Retro Recipes. He goes his online handle. He goes by Perry Fractic. And he actually was a supporting cast actor in The Phantom Menace. He was part of one of the people in the Senate that walked around with Amidala. And
Interesting.
that guy actually contacted me because he was like, I want to show your theme on my YouTube channel. I was like, well, that's actually really cool. So, I sent him a copy of the theme and he showed it off and everything. And I was like, I got somebody that's moderately D-list famous. It's showing my shit on the internet. That's cool.
That is cool.
Man, meeting some
That's
of the D-list folks is can be a negative though. Like, for example, me and my brother-in-law and my friend, we went to the ATL comic convention, and they had a couple like comic signers there, but they had one dude with this like giant display, and it said "Meet the Asthma Kid."
The Asthma Kid. Okay.
Now, who is the Asthma Kid, you ask? Well, I will tell you. The Asthma Kid was a kid that was in a crowd in a Walking Dead episode where they told him for the governor episodes that he was supposed to go out and find resources, but his mom yelled, "But my kid has asthma," and that was his claim to fame.
Well,
Wow.
$20 for an autograph.
Are you serious?
Not even joking. That's why I was just like,
That's wild.
like, what would he have them even sign?
Right?
An inhaler?
Exactly.
Yeah.
a
Hold on,
post-box
this is
Some
for the
my
future.
albuterol, please. Sorry. I'm so sorry. If you ever see this, you're like, you son of a bitch.
You know, I don't feel
I
bad.
was your fan, but fuck you now.
Fuck you.
We actually ended up making a Steam group called the Asthma Kid Insurgents, Team Tacky, because we were just that impressed that he was just that, like, he was very confident in the fact that I had asthma.
Hey, he's bringing light to the subject. People out there suffer from asthma. So did he, and it was just in The Walking Dead. They brought it up then.
It ended up being in the end of the world where you're expendable at that point.
To
We
be
need to
fair,
outrun
though.
these zombies. Let the asthma kid start running first.
To be fair, though, I doubt that guy watches this podcast. I don't think there's that many
So he's got
asthma
asthma.
sufferers that are smoking cigars.
Yeah.
At least it probably wouldn't be advisable.
I mean, you say that.
You can get a couple puffs in and then.
Yeah.
This is great.
I go through a bottle of albuterol every cigar.
My pharmacist loves me. What are you smoking today? A Fuente? Yes, I am.
Speaking of which, is anybody pairing anything today?
I am. Just because I was curious with this Neanderthal, I'm pairing with RC Cola,
Okay.
Ooh.
and it is freaking fantastic. I do have to say,
I'm
sweet
going,
is
go
definitely balancing out the heaviness of this cigar, and I'm digging it.
yeah.
Got Barman
Going out of orders
or
out there.
18.
Going out of-
Sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, wait.
He's so excited. He's like, "This is an 1853 bottle that I just cracked open, and it's
No,
actually
baby.
from 1853."
It was next to Grant at one point in time while he was chain smoking his cigars. And just the proximity made it that much sweeter.
Hey, Billy, you want to try to do yours? And Zach,
No, it's all
Can't
right.
do it right.
I was just showing. I'm going for Dr Pepper cream soda, and that same kind of deal with yours, Ben. It's actually surprisingly well goes together well. The sweetness kind of does something with that, even though
yeah,
the
balances
cigar
out
has-
for me.
yeah, it does really balance it out.
Nice.
All right, Grim.
I'm
about
drinking a
you, buddy?
monster because I hate my body.
Okay, fair enough. And we'll come back to Robert. How about you, Zach?
Well, it's funny that you should. I am finishing up a glass of Barman 1873 bourbon, which is new to me. It's a blend that was recommended by a local liquor store, and it's a Coors company.
Oh,
Like
okay.
it's made in Kentucky. For Coors, I suppose, but it's like an homage to, I guess, one of the founders of Coors Brewing. But it's pretty good. It's
So
could use a little more proof for this cigar. But it's working out well. It's sweet and delicious.
So,
Okay.
so you don't feel like they suckered you for selling something that they couldn't sell for over 150 years on their shelves.
I don't believe that this is 150 years old. I think that maybe
Did
maybe
the bottle
it's
lie
just
to
like-
me?
The company
they just
might be
pulled
that old.
number out of the air, man. You know,
That number's there for a reason.
it's there for a reason. But
I think it's a reference to how old the company is. But
whatever.
it's pretty
I'm
good.
going bullshit. No,
Yeah, I'm calling
let's
bullshit
sue.
too.
Let's sue. That's false advertising. They led me on. I was suckered into their drink because I thought of the smoothness of age. And I'll stop now.
And let's go get Robert. Robert, what are you pairing with today?
Not only
Diet
Diet
Coke. Okay. Diet Dr. Pepper as well. Which one do you think pairs better? Is Diet Coke or the Diet Dr. Pepper? The Diet Dr. Pepper.
Yep.
I'm telling you, that
23
23
flavors?
flavors. 23 flavors just does it, man.
There's another
it helps.
sponsorship we need.
I know
Right.
Dr. Pepper. They'll never ever sponsor us, but
We
They
talk
should.
positively about them all the time.
we do all the time
And we
because
will-
it's a great.
And we will stop if they don't pay.
and all of a sudden,
To be fair, we
millions of
won't
Dr.
stop
Pepper
drinking it.
drinkers-
We will just stop talking about it.
What are you pairing with? Not a Dr. Pepper.
Not a Dr. Pepper.
Anything but Dr. Pepper. This brown liquid is something else.
It's a Mr. Pibb. It's not even a Pibb extra. It's a Mr. Pibb.
Mr. Pitt.
Miss
Well,
the
shit.
old Mister.
He didn't go to college.
He never finished his PhD. He's just got a master's or something.
He dropped out. He had kids early. That kind of thing.
Sad story, but still a good drink.
Yeah, he still got it right. Don't matter. If anything, he's not paying off student loans. He's saving that money.
He made the smart choice.
Yeah.
Oh shit! All right, so I guess it's time to rate these things. I have switched to the pick because it started burning my fingers pretty good. I mean, I know Graham's gonna hate me, but RoMa Craft knocked it out of the park again with this one. It's a great smoke. No film in the mouth. Besides the touch-ups, I have no complaints about this cigar. Like I said, in the burning uneven could be because it's, a little damp here today. I don't know. Might have an effect, might not have an effect. But overall, great smoke. I really enjoyed it. So this one's going to get a high rating for me. It's definitely going to get probably a 4.8. And that's not to knock it, down for flavor or anything like that. It's just that I think there are a couple of more other RoMa Crafts I like in the line better than this one, but that is not to take away from it, because if I saw this one, I'm grabbing it in a fucking humidor if I find it, because it is a
Especially in Georgia.
good smoke. Yeah, especially in Georgia.
Can I buy that box?
Yeah, I'm gonna buy it, and I'll probably buy multiples of it because it's that good, and I'd love to have one on hand just to smoke. So yeah, 4.8, hands
Nice.
down. How about you, Billy?
This has been a really enjoyable smoke. It's been not too heavy, but the flavor's been phenomenal. I'm gonna probably, I think I'm gonna rate this 4.4. There are other cigars that I've had that I would definitely put above this, but just a very easy smoking cigar, enjoyable all the way through. There's no kind of film on your mouth whatsoever. And I would say somebody that was looking for something a little bit heavier starting out, this would be something that I would definitely recommend, just because it's not going to put you on your ass. But for whatever reason, some of the bigger gauge cigars tend to, I don't know, have better smoke output, but also kind of burn cooler. And I kind of like that. So yeah, I'm gonna say 4.4 on this.
Fair. How about you, Grimbles?
I stole a poem for this cigar.
Okay. Need to
I
dim
stole
the
it.
lights. Start doing some bongo
And
drums.
I'm not even ashamed to say that I stole it, and it goes something along the lines of, I hate the way you talk to me, and I hate the way you cut your hair. I hate the way you drive my car. I hate it when you stare. I hate your big dumb combat boots, and the way you read my mind. Does nobody get the reference at this point? Why is nobody fucking chiming in?
I don't remember it all. That's 10 things I hate about you, right?
It is 10 things I hate about you. Thank you. God. Let me go that far into a goddamn poem? Like, I'd read poetry in the first place. What the fuck's wrong with you people? Get the joke.
I'm
The
just
joke is, I don't
shocked-
hate you at all, RoMa Craft. I don't hate you at all.
I'm just surprised you've seen that movie. That's the shocking part. To
I
me.
haven't. I Googled it.
All right. So since you don't hate the cigar, what are you going to rate it?
4.75.
What was that? What was that?
Was it one more time?
What was that, Grim? A little bit louder.
It was a 4.75.
Was that 4.75?
It was 4.75.
Okay, fair. How about you, Robert?
I'm going 4.8. Everything. That cigar was everything I loved about RoMa Craft and more. No complaints. Everything was perfect on it.
Awesome. Zach.
Well, so
He's
I love
speechless.
so
Folks.
many
He's
of those
speechless.
cigars. I'm trying to gather my thoughts a little bit, but
You're giving it lip service without even talking. That's crazy.
yeah.
6.2.
Zach, just start doing this. Oh.
So it's been excellent the whole way through for me. No burn issues. I touched up a tiny thing that probably would have fixed itself. Just a little place where a little bit of the tobacco was not even with the burn line, but it probably would have fixed itself eventually. But constantly good flavor and very enjoyable. It's a heavier smoke, so I probably wouldn't have it like daily. Not that I smoke daily, but
Where it's Andy.
I'm
when
trying
you
not
need
to. I'm trying not to give it a 5 because
You do it
there's-
from your heart. From
Don't-
your heart.
no,
Zach.
there's
don't-
other things
don't
in
do
the
it.
line
Don't do
that
it.
I
Don't
think
do
I
it.
prefer more than this cigar. But I'm gonna give it a 4.95. We'll say.
I fucking called it in my head. I was like, he's about to say
Yeah.
4.95 just to piss me off. God
Because
damn it.
it's great, and it's not like a super expensive cigar. I think
No.
that they're like somewhere between $8 and $10 or $12, maybe.
I don't even think
they've
it's
got
that
some
high. I
that-
think 8 and 10. I think 8 and 10 is
Yeah.
your
Yeah,
range.
8 and
right there.
10.
That's awesome.
So it's like
Hey, can we just
really
like put up
affordable.
like charts with this since we're putting in other like graphics
Yeah.
throughout the rest of this episode? Be like, this is the average price point of a RoMa Craft cigar, and this is why this is the best value, and this is why.
I
Like,
think not
it-
just best
it-
value, best taste is really fucking good.
For that price range, I don't know that there's another cigar in that price range that's as enjoyable as this one to me.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I mean, I'm there with you,
That's
Zach,
what I got.
man. I mean,
Yeah.
just the price
just
range
love
alone.
this cigar. I'm
It's-
super
it's
stoked. I
crazy.
got another one in my humidor, and I'm gonna gonna have that again soon.
I'm going on RoMa strike. I'm done.
No,
Are
you're
you?
not.
Done.
You know,
Well,
if
yes,
Penny
for
sends
now,
us
'cause
another
we
one,
don't
you're gonna
have
be
any
like,
more.
I'm smoking. No, we
I'll
have
smoke it
more
before
RoMa
the
Craft.
podcast. I'll act like I'm smoking the ashes. Yeah, totally. I will.
But you know,
Ah.
again, it's Penny. Penny gives us these, and they're amazing cigars. I mean, I can't say enough good things about them because there's very few lines that we smoke or have smoked that, and we've had a full range of RoMa Crafts now, and they're consistently good on each one, and each one tastes different, has a unique profile to them, has something different to offer, and they're just good. Like I said, there's very little lines that we can actually say, no, hands down, I would grab one and smoke one every time if I saw it.
I will
You
say
know?
one more thing about the cigar. The last, or one of the previous ones I had, I did a double punch on it because it's got a flat top, and I thought that might be better. Doing the straight cut was the way to go. I got better smoke output for sure. A V cut probably would have been great too, but it's it's a good cigar.
Yeah, I was going to try to do a V cut on this one, but my V cut's not quite deep enough to get that flatness in there, so
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
try it. But I guess if nobody has anything else to contribute, I guess we can say good night on this one. So, good night.
Good night.